Hey, it's Brian here, the Land Guy. In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different. In fact, I'm going to be talking about something that is just a little bit uncomfortable. In fact, it's personal. And I really felt the need to want to share it with you today. I'm out here on the job site, been working on some folks' property, and I just felt really led to want to be able to share this with you today. But I think it's important enough to share with you because if you work outside, if you work on the land, if you love being outdoors, if you're a farmer, you're a rancher, you're an equipment operator, you're a lawn mowing business guy, or maybe you're out on the lawnmowers, someone who just spends time out in the sun, this one's for you. So you probably already noticed my face doesn't look quite right. In fact, you see all these spots on my face, even coming up into here, right in through here. My nose is really red and it's really sore and it's tender. And I've got spots over here on this side as well. These things didn't just pop up overnight. These things have been going on for several years. And I got a little concerned about them a few weeks ago. In fact, during my annual doctor visit, I spoke to the doctor about these spots on my face, especially on my nose, because it was very red. I almost looked like a Rudolph. And he said, I think we need to get you sent to the dermatologist. And of course, I've never been to a dermatologist, don't know anything about them other than they're a skin doctor. So I knew I had something going on with my skin, but I didn't really know what it was. I've worked outside my whole life. I remember mowing grass as a young teenager. That's what I did around the town that we lived in to make that money in the summertime. I've worked long days. I've been out in the sun from sun up to sundown. I've worked on the highway systems. I've built ponds. I do this land work now, and I love exploring and being outdoors, running equipment. I've done all of this, and like a lot of you guys too. You all love this channel because it's an outdoor channel, and you love seeing the land transformations and the pond fixes and the ponds built. But all of this stuff here didn't just happen overnight. This has been something that's going on because of sun exposure. And you just keep working. You don't think anything about it. In fact, I remember when I was younger, I thought anybody who put sunblock on was a sissy. And I just couldn't figure out why grown men would do that. Little did I know, as I've aged, and of course 49 years old now I'm dealing with this because I didn't take care of myself back in my younger days. So after making that appointment with the dermatologist, I went, and I was a little nerve-wracked because going in there, I went in there and I was sitting in the waiting room amongst people that was really a lot older than me. And I kind of felt out of place being the younger guy. But the doctor called us back. We went back and looked, and my wonderful wife she was able to come up with me as well. And we went in there and she began to speak to me about what was going on with my skin. The doctor did. And she said, Brian, she says, what you are dealing with are pre-cancer spots. I heard the C word and I'm thinking, cancer, that's not something that I want to deal with. You see, I know my family's past. My grandmother, she had a lot of skin cancer issues. She's had spots cut off of her body. In fact, I remember one time she had a spot of melanoma on her nose, and they ended up having to cut off part of her nose and reconstruct it because of sun exposure. And then I even have an acquaintance that I know that she has had dealings with skin cancer, and they've cut the top of her ears off. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to have these issues at a later time. And the doctor said, well, Brian, she said, we've got a solution for you, and this is what the regimen is, and this is what you need to be doing. And she said, these spots are caused from long-term sun exposure that has caused skin damage, and they're pre-cancer spots. So after years of sun exposure, your skin develops these damaged cells, is what I understand, and they show up as rough, scaly red spots. And that's what I have on my face and really bad on my nose. And in fact, one of those spots were bleeding, and it kind of got me all worried. And that's when I went to the doctor and I said, hey, what's going on? Well, he said, well, let's go to a dermatologist. So the reason I'm saying all this is this just didn't happen overnight, but this has been something that took place over several years. And it just wasn't one bad sunburn, but it was many sunburns and lots of years of sun exposure being outside. And these spots especially show up on the face and on the nose and on the ears and on the forehead, the way I understand. And it's from being outside for years. And with me being the land guy, this is what I do. This is my work. This is my calling. This is how I help landowners and support my families, by going and helping these landowners with their properties. So I'm outdoors all the time. As I've got older, I've started using a little bit of sunblock, but that has not helped with what you see here. So what the doctor prescribed me was chemo cream. And there's that other C word, right? Chemo cream. And she said, yeah, she said, what you need to do, she said, I'll write you a prescription. You go by your pharmacist, you pick this up, and you put this cream on your face, on those spots for 2 weeks, every night before bed. And then when you get up in the morning, you wash all that off, and then you put some kind of Vaseline or something to kind of help, because it's going to be dry and it's going to be scaly and it's going to hurt just like what it is today. So that's why my face is kind of shiny, because I put that stuff on this morning. But that chemo word, man, that kind of scared me. And basically what that does is you put that on there and it does really well. It targets those damaged cell areas, and it helps that healthier skin begin to grow and take over. So hopefully here in a few weeks, I'll look like a 20-year-old. Fingers crossed, right? But basically what that chemo treatment does is it targets those damaged areas, but it's addressing this that could potentially turn into cancer. So I wanted to get this taken care of, and I didn't want the issue to be much bigger than what it is. And I didn't want to be like my grandmother and have half of my nose cut off. I kind of think about this like I do about leaky ponds or land that's been neglected. Those things, if you ignore those things long enough, they don't fix themselves overnight. And I know us men sometimes can be a little bit hard-headed, but those small issues can actually turn into a big one if you don't get them taken care of, like with the ponds and the land, and even your own health and your skin. So if you work outside, you farm, you ranch, you mow lawns, you run equipment, you like hiking or just being outdoors and exploring, pay very close attention to your skin. If something doesn't look right, go get it checked out by a professional. I'm not someone who can give medical advice, but just be aware of your skin and the coloration of it and what's going on. I knew I was having some of these issues for the last few years. I just wasn't man enough to go get it addressed, so to speak. But, you know, God has given us this body to take care of, just like He's given us this land to steward and these ponds to keep maintained and looking great. We've only been given one body, so we've got to make sure we do our part by keeping it maintained and looking its best, right? Because we're not getting any younger. So in ending of this video, I know this is very sidetracked from mostly what I talk about, but since I work on land and I'm outdoors all the time and I'm dealing with some of this, I just felt like I needed to address you guys with it because it's something that you need to be aware of. It's something I don't take lightly, and I'm not sharing all of this just for sympathy clicks. I'm just sharing it because if I can help someone, even one person, catch something early to keep them from having to go through all the other struggles of when it turns into cancer, I want to be able to help you. Because you all, I know you love this channel and you love being outdoors and you love seeing the transformations take place. And I'm the same way. I love being outside. I don't like to be inside. But make sure you use sun protection if you're outside. And make sure you check out these spots. Keep an eye on your skin. Be aware of this So take care of your land, take care of your ponds, and take care of your skin. And we'll catch you in the next video.